anti-force country and served honorably in Iraq.
Signed our names with no regrets, only wanted to be the best that we could be. And we wanted this and nothing more than to be true down to the core. We thought we'd live forever, but when the full moon is bright and the wind blows just right, I can hear your voice on the wind. 21 guns into the night till we meet again on the other side. 21 guns, this is goodbye till we meet again on the other side. Yeah, 21 guns.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
It's great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome. How are we out there? We are on Patriots Inside the Wire. Again, Patriots Inside the Wire tonight. Tonight we have a special episode for you that we wanted to bring to you. Christmas is coming on. We have our Gold Star families. And so we wanted to get into a little bit of that tonight, a special episode. So tonight we bring you a special episode with a Gold Star father and an author and a wonderful individual that runs an organization to help so many, including me. I have been. It is beautiful. We are going to get into that, but we really wanted to do this special episode. Not only do we thank those who are serving, but those who have served. And we wanted to let you know, our Gold Star families are the active duty service members, our fallen heroes that are no longer here. They didn't make the choice to take off that uniform. They are not here as they were serving for you, active duty. Those are our fallen heroes. And we are upon Christmas. And as we enter into the holidays, that could be a little hard. So Mr. Terry Burgess and I decided, we're going to do a special episode here. And we'd like to reach out and talk to you and get you some information. So welcome again, Patriots Inside the Wire. Please grab your friends, your loved ones, and share this and join us to hear more. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much again. Welcome to the show, Terry Burgess. How are you doing?
Thank you, Tracy. Doing very well. That introduction was amazing. That was very well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I have to give a shout out to Sergeant Records.
Yes.
Jason and Scotty. That was Scotty Frazier's song. He's a Marine. You always say Marine, right? I can't say veteran. He's amazing. He's a mentor to me, and I'm just grateful for our veterans like that do stick to our Gold Star families, which is,
absolutely,
again,
yes.
Terry, the reason I keep saying Gold Star family, and then I give the definition. I have to give the definition of that is our active duty service members that were serving. While they were serving, they didn't come home.
Right.
They came to us draped with the flag, and it's personal to me too. So my son, Sergeant Two-Step, I keep saying I apologize out there, and it's because this is a subject that yes, we want you to know all about because we want to honor all of those, especially our fallen service members. And upon the holidays, Gold Star families are the families of those active duty service members. 2 words, remember that. Your active duty service members that were serving, fallen heroes, their families are the Gold Star families that are left behind. In my own case, I think of that my son is watching over me, and I am grateful and I'm proud of him for his patriotism and being able to join when so few do. So thank you for enjoy the show, but get a little tripped up out there. Don't be too hard on me. This is a personal subject, but we like this. We want you to understand all of it. So I'm going to let Terry speak to you a little bit about, we want to do a shout out, especially to the Gold Star families, Terry. So we'll do that kind of midway through, but I'd like to hear from you. You're an author. You have a lot more going on than just Gold Star Parents Retreat, which we will be talking about later. But as a Gold Star father, and I'm a Gold Star mother, you don't normally hear that. I hear Gold Star mom all the time, but I don't always hear the father, the siblings. And so welcome, Terry. I'm so glad that you're on. Let's just talk about this and take care of our Gold Star families and our veterans. How are you doing?
Well, thank you, Tracy. And I really appreciate that because that's exactly how we started off. We got the notification of Brian's death from my daughter-in-law. Tiffany called us and she said, I could barely understand her. She was crying. She was just full out weeping. And she told us that Brian had been killed in Afghanistan early that morning, March 29th, 2011. That was our first notification. And then later that morning, here came the Army colonel and the chaplain. And then still later that day came our casualty assistance officer, our CAO. From that very first moment that Tiffany called us, I started sinking. I just sank. My heart, my spirit, my will, everything was just withering. And I think from that moment, Beth was extremely concerned. My wife, Beth, she's Brian's stepmom.
Yes.
And literally, Tracy, without Beth, I would not be here without Beth, because she started from that first day wondering how she could help me. She didn't just lose her stepson that day, she lost me. And she was extremely worried about how do we recover from this? What can we do? And she did. She started searching. There's like you said, you go to the internet, you start searching for the death of a son or a daughter, a military son or a daughter death, and you can find many organizations for spouses. You find organizations for the moms. You find organizations for the children. This was 2011. Beth could not find anything relating to parents, much less to fathers of fallen soldiers.
You're right.
It was all she could do to get me out of bed in the morning, to get me take, that first step in the morning, get a cup of coffee down me. Let's make it through this day. And she got to the point she was worried about leaving me alone. She didn't want to leave me by myself while she went to work, because she knew one of these days she was going to come home and I would be gone. And we got involved with other organizations. I think the first family that we got involved with was the Riley Stevens family out of Tolar, Texas.
Oh, wow.
They did rucks for their son, Riley. And I thought, I can do that. I need something to burn off. I need something to occupy my mind and my body. So I thought, we'll do this ruck with the Stevens family. And another lady was there with them. She was a Patriot Guard rider.
My
I
Love
wish I could
them.
remember her name. Sarah Overall was her name. And she
Okay.
had this idea. She said, have you thought about doing a gathering, a meeting of other parents of fallen soldiers to see how they're coping with it? How do they get through with it? And we thought, this might be a good idea. We had met the Riley family. We met others, and we said, we can't be the only family. We can't be the only parents struggling with this, looking for some help. So we thought, well, let's do a retreat. Let's do a retreat for parents of fallen soldiers. And Sarah knew this couple down in Leakey, Texas, Dallas and her husband, Dallas Hart. And they donated their property. They had a few cabins, and we said, okay, let's invite some other parents of fallen soldiers. Let's put the word out there. Let's see what happens. And Tracy, we had a full house that very first weekend. This was 2016 down in Leakey, Texas. And we had parents coming from El Paso, from Tyler, from Houston, from Amarillo. They came from all over Texas and said, this is what we've been looking for. This is what we need. We need to network. We need to connect with other parents. And in 2017, I think the next year, we became a 501c3. And we started doing annual retreats. And we are still doing them. This is 2023. We had a very successful, this is the one that you came to this year.
It is. You got me out.
And you saw the crowd. You saw we had a full house. And we put out the word for next year for the 2024 retreat in April, and it filled up immediately. We have a waiting list. So this is ongoing. This is something that parents need. This is something where they can connect, where they can network, where they can feel out what other parents are going through. And even though the name in our retreat is Gold Star Parents Retreat, it's not just for those killed in action. It's not just for combat-related deaths. We saw a need for parents of soldiers that died in training accidents. We saw a huge need for the parents of soldiers that take their own lives. We have parents, their sons or their daughters were murdered while they were home on leave. We have parents, their sons died from the inoculations they received before they were being deployed. These are the parents. They get the folded flag, they get the ceremony, but their sons and daughters' names are never going to be on a wall. They're never going to be on a memorial. They're never going to have that 21 gun salute saying, they gave their lives in service to their country. These are the parents that are hurting desperately, needing someone to take their hand, take their side, and help them get through this incredibly horrible time in their lives. This is the worst day of your life as a parent. This is absolutely the worst day, and you have to get through it somehow. You have to have help. I couldn't get through it by myself. I was very fortunate that I had Beth. We were very fortunate that we met Sarah and the Stevens to help us get through this. And now these retreats, they're as much a help to me as they are to these other parents. They come in and they'll say, I haven't talked to anyone about the death of my son or my daughter in several years. I didn't think anybody wanted to hear. Nobody wants to know. Nobody wants me to come to Christmas because I make them sad. Easter's not the same. Father's Day, Mother's Days are not the same. And here they are. They're hearing these people, these parents stand up and talk about how they feel, the honor they feel about their son and their daughter, and what they want to do as a legacy for their sons and daughters. And then these parents get up and talk, and they say, I haven't talked in 2 years. I haven't talked in 3 years. I haven't talked to anybody. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you were there. It was the caterer that was serving our meals at this last retreat. we found out he was the father of a Marine that was killed in a motorcycle accident. And he said, nobody wants to hear that. He says, then I hear you guys talking about it. And Tracy, he had not talked to anybody about his son's death, not even his parents.
Oh, wow.
So here he is. And we made him one of us. We invited him in. He came up, he stood at the mic, and he told his story for the very first time at the retreat.
Oh.
And it's like I think you used the word organic, and that's what this is. All Beth and I have to do is get the parents into this room, into this meeting room, and the magic, the healing, the spiritualism, it all begins. It all starts by itself. They connect, they talk, they visit, they share contact information. And like I said, we started in 2016. To this day, they are still good friends, best friends.
Oh.
They seek each other out. They can tell if somebody's on social media, and you can tell they're not doing too well. You know, what's wrong? What's bothering you? And a lot of the times it's the anniversary of a death. It's a holiday that just hurts. It was a favorite family holiday. The son or the daughter is no longer there. There's an empty chair at the table.
Yes.
We help each other out through that. That's what our retreat has become. And that's what it has done. So it's no longer just me and Beth. It's a network of these parents from across the nation. And I do have to give a shout out to American Airlines, because we were struggling trying to get parents into the retreat. We're small. It's just me and Beth. Everything we do depends on fundraising and our volunteers. We don't take a salary. You can see this is my office space, my home. We don't have storage space for the retreat. So every dollar that comes in goes into the program. And we had reached out to Randy Stillinger at American Airlines, and he said, let me see what I can do. And this last year, Randy Stillinger, along with Maria and American Airlines, they donated 2 million air miles to help us fly in parents from all across the United States. So we went from just being a small retreat in Leakey, Texas. We are now national, and we still have a waiting list. So
yes, I can attest to that.
And I'm so glad that you got to come and see what we do and why we do it. You know, it started because of Brian. This is his legacy.
Yeah.
And now you've seen the slideshow. You've seen our website, goldstarparentsretreat.org. It's grown, and it is growing, and it will continue to grow, sadly. But this is what we do, and this is why we do it.
Well, Terry, I wanted to go back to a moment that you mentioned. There are a couple of things. You do so much that, you know, the way that I would put it is the same thing has happened to me. We like to help, and we reach out, and not saying we're all that, but what I'm saying is that in that same predicament of where is everyone? We've lost our units. We've lost our troop. We are left with that knock on the door, left frozen in a corner of the couch. You mentioned about being here. Yes, I'm going to do a shout out to Mrs. Beth Burgess, because she is amazing. To me, she's just a rock.
She's here somewhere. She's in here.
Yeah. Well, she is a rock. And Terry, the other thing I wanted to mention was, so you doing all of this, you know, I have to say that nobody could get me anywhere except I was in session. I remember talking to you, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave session, and I'm going to go for a day. I'll get in and get out, because I like to be, here I am live, everyone, saying I like to be behind the scenes, but I really do, and take those phone calls. And then when we did our episode yesterday, our Christmas special, we had multiple veterans on, And
Yeah.
they were speaking about the veteran side and then losing their brothers and sisters in arms. And a song that was written recently by ScottyHastings.com. Again, it's ScottyHastings.com. His battle brother's name is Adam. So, Terry, as you know, my son's name isn't Two Step, it's Adam. So, when he wrote this song, How Do You Choose? And I started researching, and then I started reaching out to you going, I want to do a honor call for our Gold Star families. The holidays are coming. I researched this song and I went, oh, he's Purple Heart. He was shot 10 times, should not be here. And his best friend, Adam Hamilton, passed. And he wrote this song, and it is just climbing everywhere. He just had Gary Sneespeech out. Just hearing him talk about his own, the mother of Adam Hamilton, coming to see him, crying, loving, sometimes sad too, for this song that he wrote about his battle brother. And we got to talking, and after getting so many responses from Gold Star families saying, yes, add us to the call out that we did last night on the Christmas special with the veterans who are fully support us. You know, I mention all the time, if I could connect a Gold Star family to one veteran, just one, I know that it will help not only the veteran, but it will also help that family. And so I am hard at work trying to figure out doing this, and it's like a mentorship program, and it's as if you're just you're there for each other. So that had been my mission, and what turned into so I was already working with military. You know, I had ran Military Moms of Texas, which I hadn't done that so much because of losing my own son. It turned into the same thing you mentioned. It was, well, where do I go?
Yeah.
Well, I used to go to this. I used to go to this meeting. I used to put on events. Where do I go now? Like, where do I fit? I
Yeah.
don't know where to go. And honest to God, I thank God for my faith. Thank God for just my gut, my children that I have, the backbone, and our veterans. They are the heartbeat of and just the rock of America. And to have them go to you, and talk to me last night about, you know, what they've experienced. And then when they have reached out to a Gold Star family member, and I always say family member because it's not just moms. You are correct. We do hear that all the time. But it's the siblings too. So, you know, I talked to them about my son, and I decided that you and I, Terry, so between a Gold Star mother and a Gold Star father, you were messaging me yesterday. We were gathering that list to call out. So anyone's name that we do not have, we apologize. It was just the list that we had upon asking permission, because we never want to share anything, obviously, unless we have permission. So thank you, Terry, for the work you did on that. And then, of course, we had Sheila, Anna, and later we'll call out those names. But we had multiple moms and two dads, Terry, sending it and saying, yes, please, you know, add the name. And so I said, okay, we need to do a special episode here. Christmas is coming, and the holidays, which can be great to still live around our loved ones that are here. I want to make sure to say that I'm grateful.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, opening up that box of Christmas ornaments. So my last time that I saw my son was Christmas. And so you have ornaments in there that you pull out. You have a lot of memories that are packed in there. I personally did not take down my own Christmas tree for multiple years. And I'd have people say to me, you have to take that down. And I'd say, I don't have to do anything, because honestly, the worst thing in the world has just happened to me. So I don't think you can do anything else to me. So have at it. Whatever that might be, I'm telling you, speaking from experience, you're not going to do anything that's really going to make me worse off right now. So losing a child in any realm, you know, we know that is hard. When you sign up and take that oath, foreign and domestic, Terry, you have very few people who would do that. And when they do that, it is so we have the freedoms that we do, the freedom of speech, our rights, our constitutions, you name it, the things that they uphold for us are because of service members. So as they have passed on, where do we go? So as you were looking, Terry, I had the same thing. So even as a mom, if you don't have a chapter that's very active in your area within a certain nonprofit, because it's usually the families that are helping each other.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you will have a Gold Star family that's literally the ones that are helping each other, which is great. And then you have veteran organizations. But honestly, to have what I call an organic grassroots provided for all that have served, they didn't choose to take off that uniform. They lost their lives while serving for everything that we have. So I had the same thing, Terry. I don't know where to go. I don't know who I'm supposed to be around anymore. Like I can't attend. It's just odd for them, honestly. So those out there that you're listening to me, I know that you believe that it's very hard. Like, what are you going to say to us? Or are we going to bring down the room? Are we going to, you know what I mean? Are we going to make everybody sad? I want to encourage everyone to know that, and I can speak for myself here, but I do know there's others because I've talked to them. We would love to hear from you. We, not being included anymore is I don't know how to explain this. It's a frozen in time situation where you could have before talked to I would talk to the commander that was with my son. I would talk to the whole unit. We supported the units, but you can't do that now. Now you can if they reach out and they still want to stay in touch. But what I mean is, you would have these wonderful moments to celebrate with not only your own child, but the whole unit and the troop and the patriotism that's there. Now, what do we do with the families when we no longer have our service member? And that is a Gold Star family. And I keep saying it because I can't tell you how many times that, as you know, again, shout out to American Airlines. Thank you so much. They have been supporting Gold Star families through Gold Star Parents Retreat by flying the families out to the retreat that you're talking about, Terry. But, I told you the story. I told you the story that I was very kind and I was talking to a gal at the desk and waiting in line. And I said, she was asking me, well, what is it under? And I said, Gold Star. And she looked at me and she said, well, I have other people. You're not special just because you have Gold Star.
No.
And I just quietly got back in the line and I waited for my turn. And I said, thank you, ma'am. But I want to let you know something. And it's not your fault. A lot of people don't know what it is. A Gold Star family means, unfortunately, your service member that was active duty or in relation to serving for our military is no longer here. And that's my son. And boy, her face. So that people do not mean any harm. It's just that we need to educate.
Yeah, exactly. They're uneducated. Beth and I were talking about that just a few minutes ago. Like we would trade a lot of precious belongings to be that clueless again, to not know what it means. But unfortunately, we do, and we have taken it and we've turned it into a legacy for our fallen. And that's what I said. That's how we get out of bed in the mornings. That's how we keep putting one foot in front of the other. And one of the, you were just talking about, one of the chapters in my book is that our address book changed. I'm very fortunate. I have some really good friends who have stuck with us since that tragic day that Brian was killed. But then there are others that, that they literally told us, they said, please don't come to my house because you make everybody sad. Yes. So our address book changed in that aspect. And it's, that's a part of this life now.
It is, Terry. It is. You mentioned, I want everyone to hear what you're saying, Terry, because I want everyone that's listening and to encourage everyone else around you that we do want you to be around and not feel like that, we're going to be as they call it. I don't know if it's still that, if I'm going to date myself here. It's not the buzzkill. It's not the bad energy of the room. It is actually 9 times out of 10, I can tell you that we would be honored and love to be included, and be there. And just, we won't try to draw the energy from the room. If we need to do that, we usually step out and excuse ourselves. We could do that.
Yeah.
We've made it through the worst. So we wanted everyone to hear that. And Terry, so what we didn't mention, so Terry, Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess. So Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess is your son. And Terry, you wrote a book. So you are also an author. Can you give us a little bit about your book?
I can. Beth and I, we had been going around the Fort Worth area, DFW area. We would do talks on Memorial Day, on sometimes on Veterans Day. We would do it, and it was just telling Brian's story. It was like you said, educating people about what a Gold Star family is, what it means, and how you live with that every day. We were up at, I think it was Keller. We were doing a Memorial Day speech at cemetery, and there was a publisher was in the audience, and he came up to me afterwards and he said, "Have you published your story?" And I said, as far as writing it down, we'd go around, we'd give talks, we do speeches. We've been to high schools, we've been to some military installations. And he said, "You have an incredible story." He says,
Yes.
"Please put it in writing so that other people can read it." So we worked about a year on the book, and
There it is.
It's called When Our Blue Star Turned Gold, and that's Brian's photo on the front.
Beautiful, beautiful. When you're hold that up again, Terry. I got a message here they want to see.
Sure.
When Our Blue Star Turned Gold. That is Mr. Terry
See if I can
Burgess,
hold
the
that right
author.
there you go.
There you go. When Our Blue Star Turned Gold. And that is Staff Sergeant Burgess there. And that is your son. So
Yes.
if you're looking for a book out there to learn about the story that Terry had to put into words, and Terry, I'm thinking of doing that, but I already know that that's got to be tough.
It is. Ernest Hemingway said it's easy to write. You just sit down to a typewriter and you bleed. And that's exactly what it was. There were times writing this meant that I was reliving every second of that. And the publisher, Glenn, he's deceased now. He's rest his soul. He's passed on, but he was really pushing to get the book published by Veterans Day. He thought that would be great. And there were times Beth would have to call him, get him on the phone and say, you've got to back off. This seems to be killing Terry all over again. And it was vividly reliving every second since we received that phone call from Tiffany. One of the interesting things was that Beth and I remembered some incidents completely different, or she would remember a whole incident. I'd have no recollection of it. I'd say, "No, we were here." And she said, "No, we couldn't have been there because we were over here." There's a dinner there in Clarksville, Tennessee that I have no recollection of. I don't remember going to a dinner, and Beth and Tiffany can give me all kinds of details, the conversations that went on. So there were periods during this that I was just zoned out. It was a blank that I don't remember. So I had to rely on Beth and Tiffany's memory, as well as, thank goodness, social media and events. Beth is real good about saving programs that we went to, events that we went to there at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. We went to the Eagle Remembrance Ceremony. We went to the Bastogne Memorial. So I have those programs and the dates and who was there and who talked. And a lot of that helped. But the rest of it coming out of my memory and putting it onto paper, I think was one of the hardest things I've ever had to write. I wrote 5 fiction novels. They're just, it's stories. It was a story I had going around in my head forever.
Yeah.
But putting this story about my son and his death and what it did to us, that was extremely difficult. And I tell people, okay, this is not mandatory. I am not asking you, I'm not requiring you to read this because it's hard to get through. But people that have read it, other Gold Star parents that have read it, they said, my God, Terry, they said, that's exactly what I felt. That's exactly what I wanted to say. That's exactly what people said to us. So it turned out to not just be our story about Brian. It turned out to be a story of the families whose son or daughter has given that ultimate sacrifice. It's what that does to a human soul. It's what that does to your spirituality, to your faith. It's what it does to your work life, to your home life, to your family, to your friends. It's an incredible ripple effect that hasn't stopped yet. And that's...
I rarely get speechless, but I am I'm listening to you tonight. I've been talking a lot earlier with the Veterans Show and everything that we were doing. And, when I was talking to them and I realized that song, so it's called How Do You Choose, for everyone out there that's listening. How Do You Choose? It is by Scotty Hastings. And I say it like that because we've got a couple of Scotties here. We got Scotty Frazier, who did the beautiful intro for our Gold Star families, knowing that, I would definitely want to have. So next year, Terry, we're going to do episodes, at least 1 or 2 a month, to where we, grab a Gold Star family and let them talk about their service members. So while I have this broadcasting station that I can do it, that's what I will do. We will get them and they can tell their story. They don't have to write a book, or they can do both. I don't know yet. Who knows what I would end up doing, but I do know that being able just to do this part, which is reaching out through there. You mentioned social media. The various outlets of social media have connected a lot of us together.
Yes.
So thank goodness for that. I used to talk about the green dot, and people would look at me funny because I actually did write a story and a poem about the green dot. So when my son Adam was in Iraq and I saw that green dot pop on Facebook, so I had just had his little brother. I would stay up all night. There's a time difference there in Iraq. Boy, when I saw that green dot, it had to be like, the old days when you got the letter in the mail or something. But every time I could take another breath, I felt like, okay,
yes,
there it is. I saw the green dot. So that green dot pops on, showing that you're live on Facebook. Now there's all sorts of things that are features and different things, but the green dot. So I will be putting out, maybe I'll put out what I've already written eventually, but the green dot, Terry, went away. So I still have his page. Obviously I have everything, but I will never have that green dot on again. And the same thing in my heart. So as they were mentioning last night in the song, we had Scotty Frazier sing a song. I asked everyone, I said, I hear a lot of songs about either a veteran writing to their mother about, if something were to happen, or I've heard a lot of veterans singing about their brothers and sisters in arms, but I haven't really heard a legitimately Gold Star family song geared towards that. And I had the Marine veteran speak up and say, well, I actually have one. I have not published it yet, Tracy. I was really good at hitting them on the spot, though, Terry, you know.
Good.
So he went ahead and he did it live last night. And he said in his song, you know, the hole in my soul.
Yeah.
And I kind of took I always say the heart, because I always say a hole in my heart. When he said a hole in my soul, I went, oh my goodness, that explains it even deeper. And I don't think he realized that part, but sitting there and listening, I can't wait for everyone else to hear this. I have to get with Sergeant Records, obviously, to see about putting it out. If you watched it live last night, you can still see it. Again, that is Scotty Frazier's song. For anyone listening, he wanted to make sure everybody knew he did that for Gold Star Families. But because it's not published yet, we don't want anyone grabbing that from the show. And I don't mean the Gold Star Families. I mean anyone else out there who's singing and talent. Let's respect everybody and take care of our own. Let him get that out. He was doing he felt like a Christmas gift special for the Gold Star Families when he did that song. And when he heard me say, is there a Gold Star Family song? And he said, well, as a matter of fact, Tracy. And I said, okay. And he got about halfway through the broadcast last night and he sent me a message and said, do you want me to do it? And I said, it's your call. It is up to you. He's been a mentor. And I said, you know, you decide. And he did it. And in a hole in my soul, I went, oh, wow. And between that and then Scotty Hastings, there's two Scotties here, Scotty Hastings song, How Do You Choose? If you go look at that on YouTube, and the reason I say this is as artists, when you go click and subscribe to their accounts for music, that's in the digital world we're in. That is how they get their recognition and how they might get paid by that song. Because nowadays, you know, although I love vinyl and it's coming back, we got to take care of our musicians and especially our veterans musicians who are trying to look out for us too. So if you go to YouTube, you can go to Scotty Hastings to look up How Do You Choose? Terry, in his video, I looked, you know, I did my research. I saw him standing around multiple headstones.
Yeah.
And what he was talking about, it gives me chills because anyone that knows me really, really, really well would know that I can't do that. To this day, I'm very fortunate. We have Sergeant Carter. He'll be okay with me saying that part of his name. We have Sergeant Carter, who is near where my son is at a veterans. He's not there, but where he was laid to rest. You talked about the gun salute and all, what you saw in the beginning, where he is. Sergeant Carter's there, and I have to say thank you to them. They went out with Wreaths of America. So Wreaths of America up there with Sergeant Carter and his lovely wife laid wreaths, and they said, you know what, we want to go by for Adam. And I said, you know what, that is so kind. Thank you so much. And for Memories of Honor too, I met with Amy and Tracy from Memories of Honor. We got to give them a shout out. That was the first you're talking about rucking and all this stuff. So my first event like that was with Memories of Honor in San Antonio recently with Amy and Tracy, who's here. Another Tracy, Uribe. She's a doctor, and I know I may have messed up her last name there. I hope not, but you can tell me if I'm wrong, Terry. It's Dr. Tracy. Did I? Okay. Is it Uribe? Is that how we say her name?
That's how we say it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how we're saying it, Tracy. If you're listening to us, you catch this later. They were amazing. And so between Amy with Memories of Honor out of Tennessee and in Texas, you've got Dr. Tracy Uribe, Sergeant Carter showing up. I met new families that walked up to me I remember like, man, I bet I was that one, walking into a place because I think everyone assumed I probably have already been to multiple things, but I do know where you're at, Terry. You're further north in Texas. So there's a lot going on in your area that I am just so proud to hear about because I want to get the area that I'm in up and going like that too, or at least spread the information around through you and what you know in different events or anyone that's listening on if there is something going on, so that we can make sure that all the families, are invited and feel included. Um, in my area, we're really trying to do that. We have some great organizations, but it's not like what's going on in your area or different areas. And so I said, you know what, we've got to all start connecting. And
Yeah.
so by connecting, we can start making sure everyone is included. Um, I did the honor call last night, Terry. And for
Mm.
anyone that knows, Sheila, I have to say, shout out to Etienne, because we have a running joke. It's supposed to be RLTW, and it means Rangers lead the way. And I'm probably going to get something on this one. We changed it. We changed it to MLTW. And you know what that stands for, right?
Moms lead the way.
That's right. So that's a running theme between her and I. We're like, obviously, because they were both in kind of that same position there, the MOS, but it made us laugh. And so we always say their name, number one. Number two, we get to laugh with each other. So connecting. So the author, Terry Burgess, first off, he's a father to Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess, and of course his other family members. Our heart is there for you too. And I want to say this because when we put ourselves in these categories to start running organizations or start leading programs, we kind of put ourselves on the back burner, and then we get looked at as, okay, that's an organization, and not intentionally. But what I mean is, sometimes we need to remember that those that are behind those organizations or that are running things, they're doing it because there wasn't something that was there. And we still want to all be included, which means you too, Terry. I could not get you to let me wash dishes. I tried my hardest. When you weren't looking, I did, though. When you weren't looking, I did. But what we want everyone to know about is also Gold Star Parents Retreat. Gold Star Parents Retreat is scrolling there at the bottom. It is an organization that has been started by the Burgess family. This Gold Star Parents Retreat, Terry, I'm going to let you speak about the retreat, because what I want everyone to know, if you're listening out there, Christmas is coming. We're going to have an empty seat at that table. We know this. We've got those ornaments that I was trying to pull out of a box. I did it, and I'm going to be honest here. Not in the beginning, no. I did not. I left the tree there, but we all have our good days, and then we still have bad days. I'm a very honest person. I am not PC. I will let you know that you're not 100%, but you learn to move forward. You learn to adapt, and you learn to kind of lead whichever way that you're going, whether that's your family and whoever that might be, that you still need to be there as that rock. Sometimes that rock needs to crumble still. And I'm just speaking my truth. My truth is that I can be hard as a rock, but I can still be that little pebble that still needs someone to come by and, know, hey, what about the pebbles out there?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? How do we include everyone? So Terry, can you give us information? I want everyone that's listening to us, Gold Star Parents, I've got it running across the screen, goldstarparentsretreat.org. Christmas is coming. If you're looking for something to give to donate to, if you're looking for something as a gift for someone else that you can give, if you go to goldstarparentsretreat.org, and I can vouch for this one, and I do not normally do this. I'm telling you, I only have a couple places that I will do this. It's special to me. goldstarparentsretreat.org was in the intro video that the veterans did. Did you notice, Terry?
I did.
The American Airlines and the families were in there.
Yes.
So the Gold Star families were in there. And that is what they do. The goldstarparentsretreat.org not only has linked up with American Airlines and had me out there, but Terry, if you'll give them a little more information, I want them to hear from me the part about I'm the one asking to go to goldstarparentsretreat.org. If you're looking for something for Christmas to give to, I'm telling you, The families get to go. They get to be in rooms with each other, the cabins. Everything's taken care of. They are catered to food. People were getting massages. People were going to see these beautiful falls. And like, I was just blown away. Not only that, but this special like cigar and like the smoking. I can't remember his name. I cannot believe that I cannot remember his name. You can help me out here.
Troy Melton. Yes.
There you go.
We're very grateful to have Troy. He lives there in Wichita Falls, and the retreats that we've been having, they've been at a place called, it is now the Yogi Bear. What is that, Beth? The Yogi Bear Jellystone Park there in Wichita Falls. And when we first went there, we were just looking for a big place where we could do the event. And we started talking to the event coordinator. Her name is Paula Terry. She turned out to be a Gold Star daughter of the Vietnam War. Her dad was killed in Vietnam. We didn't know that when we first went there. She didn't know that about us when we went there. So we connected with her. The retreats are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We start on Friday with a welcome dinner, and we have a guest speaker. And then, Tracy, that's probably the hardest part and the most emotional part is we do the roll call for the parents that are in attendance. We call the names of their sons and daughters. We have a slideshow, and we say their names. Beth rings the honor bell for each one. We have the parents stand up because some of the parents' last names aren't the names of the sons and the daughters. So we want you to be able to see that. These are the parents of this soldier.
Yeah, they're fallen service members.
Yep. So we do that. And then we have a really nice meal. And then Saturday is mostly filled with fun. We do a good hearty breakfast there in the meeting hall. And then we have some events. We have crafts, some fun crafts that we can do. You mentioned Sergeant Carter. He volunteered to be our limo driver this year. So he would load up the van and take people out to see the Wichita Falls. And he drove them back and forth to the airport. And he was our van driver, our limo driver, which helped out tremendously. And then we have lunch. We have some more fun activities. And then Saturday evening, we did the wine and cigar bar. And that's where Troy Melton really came in. He did a barbecue dinner for us, a traditional Texas barbecue. So some of our East Coast and West Coast guests were really thrilled to experience his barbecue skills. He brought cigars. Mike and Alicia Bozo set up the bar for us. They tend. So if it's not mandatory. You don't have to smoke. You don't have to drink.
No,
it's just part of our fun evening.
You can choose whichever part.
Sergeant Carter set up a karaoke bar for us. First time we've ever done karaoke at the retreat.
Loved it.
I don't do karaoke, but
they loved it, Terry.
They loved it. Great. It was absolutely great. So, and then Sunday morning is breakfast and then just departures. And, so the retreats, they're not, they're not religious themed. They're not, but it can get very spiritual. It can get very, very spiritual at times. But it's a place to come to take off that mask that we have to wear in public sometimes. Yeah. We can be ourselves. This is where you can, oh my God, you can talk about everything from them being little kids to being soldiers, not to be morbid. You can talk about autopsies and people don't turn away. They don't get that glazed look in their face when you start talking about some of the horrible things that we've had to deal with. They share stories, they connect. Like I said, we have parents from all branches, from all situations, all causes of death. And at a certain time during the weekend, it becomes organic, and you just stand back and you watch the magic happen between these moms and dads. People that had never connected before, they form lasting bonds, friendships that's going to carry us the rest of our lives. We were sitting in a group, and one of the dads, his wife admitted she had forced him to come. She forced him to come. So us guys, we're sitting around, we're smoking the cigars, and we're talking about our sons. It's like, oh, well, Brian served with, he was with the 101st over there, and he was supposed to go to Hawaii, but he wound up going to Germany. And they say, yeah, my son was in Grafenwold. I say, when was he in Mosul? When was he in Iraq?
Yeah.
And we can see the dad over there, and he had been, he was locked down, and he started loosening up. He was leaning forward, and somebody said that their son had served in a unit, and he said, yes, my son served there back in, this year and that year. He says, well, my son was there that year. Said, and they love to go to this pizza place. He says, yeah, my son went to that pizza place. So he started making connections, and now he's precious to all of us. He's been coming to the retreats regularly. He talks to us. He talks to others. He's made that connection, and we pulled him out of that hole.
Yes.
Just by talking, just by sharing. So that's what we do.
Yes. And I can attest, as I'm going this year for all the days I'll be there. So everyone that's listening that was giving me messages and telling me there, you got to come for the full experience, the full deal. And I'm like, I will. We are out of session. I was in session, and I have just begun to become comfortable being around and not just behind the scenes taking calls. But I was ready, I guess is the word, ready. And there's not session right now in Texas. That's every 2 years. So I can go the full time this year, and I can't wait. And I wanted everyone out there to hear about goldstarparentsretreat.org. I've overheard a lot of people talking about, well, Christmas and gifts, or do you know of a place maybe, that we could maybe gift to? You hear a lot about donating toys, but if you thought of a way to make a difference in a life, that difference is a fallen hero, that service member that gives us this freedom that we have to go somewhere and be in a place for multiple days, not just one. It's all inclusive. Yes. They do not spend a dime out of their pocket. They get to fly there to the retreat. They stay in these beautiful cabins. This is food. Oh my goodness, food. I mean, the food. I love food. So I'm a foodie type person. The food's amazing. The people are amazing. And Sergeant Carter with the karaoke, I saw that part. I was just like, oh wow, this is great. Like that was like the icing on everything after everyone was kind of warmed up and talking, and they were just kind of sitting around. All of a sudden, he breaks out the microphone, and, they're doing these songs, and, I keep saying Sheila, and it's because she was so, when you're on social media, we're all connected, but I hadn't ever really physically been in the same room with a few of these people. One of those is Sergeant Carter. I've actually been connected to him since my son was in the military and had not met him in person. Yeah. So when he was driving me, between him and Troy Melton both, I had never met them in person. And so it was so strange at first to go, wait a minute, because they were using his real name. And I didn't recognize it. And I just was like, okay. And then all of a sudden he came up and he was saying something. He goes, Sergeant Carter? And I went, is that you? And he said, yeah, that's me. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I had the pleasure of seeing his wife and him at Memories of Honor there in San Antonio. But when he broke out the karaoke machine, Terry, you mentioned this is not just Texans that are going to this retreat. We had, so some music was being played. It was great music, but I had a couple people come up. Well, aren't you Tracy? And listen, I'm not anybody. I'm not trying to say that I'm anything, go to Terry Burgess, go to their survivor outreach services. There's all sorts of resources we can give you. But they all are like, you got to be kidding me. Come here. And I was like, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir. But let me run to Beth and Terry real quick and see where I can go cook, clean, something. And I think by the time I got through asking, I don't know how many times, and decided I'd be over there, I was just cleaning anyway with the Bozos, actually, the family. Shout out to them too. You've got Gold Star families literally running it that still have their service member gone too. So that's why, you got to remember, those of us that keep ourselves busy by running the organizations need to remember to take care of the ones that are doing that too. So we all have our service members, but a nice part to it. Now, we are not all sitting around crying. I want everyone to understand what we're doing. We are bonding. We are able to be in a room. You kind of let out a breath of fresh air. Like, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to explain anything. You don't have to make sure you don't bring down the mood. It was great. So when Mrs. Sheila, for Etienne, came over to me and said, Tracy, you're from Texas and I've been talking to you. Go over there and tell Sergeant Carter that to play something that would be from Texas, number one. And number two, I want to know about Two-Step. And I was like, my son, and his nickname's Two-Step. She said, well, him too, but no. I meant in Texas, y'all do the Two-Step. Yeah. And I said, oh my goodness. Yes, I did teach him that. I was trying to tell him, this is how you meet the nice girl, son. That's how it started, his nickname. But then, he got in the service, and his brothers and sisters in arms really quick told him, Adam, there's a snake in Vietnam that when it hits you, two times you're out, you're gone. And that was apparently the hit he had. Like, he was the one that they would say, you first hit, you're out, but there's that snake. And they said, we are not going to go say that your mom gave you the nickname to Two-Step in Texas. We're going to say it's because of the snake. He told me that story, and I said, you go back and tell them that you are glad that your mother gave you that name. So we love to tease each other. And that was him. So Two-Step. So I said, of course I will. So here I am, in this room. People are, you can be in one area doing your own thing, or you can be within another group. Multiple things are going on. Open area. And I said, of course. So we got out over there and we laughed, and I was trying to two-step with her. Of course I was not wearing the proper shoes or anything, but we were just laughing. I mean, laughing to the point we wanted to just fall over, and, like, I don't want to pee my pants here. It was amazing. So getting in that room and just laughing, and her husband Calvin would go over and say, play this song, Sergeant. Yep. He'd be like, I don't want to play that one. I want to play this one. It was just a delight. And then it was, well, what about the line dancing? And I'm like, well, just because we're all in Texas does not mean that we all
don't know.
Actually, I won't lie. I did actually. So I was like, but she knew one that I did not know. So, and we'd have to talk to her at the next retreat to ask her what the heck the name of it was. But yes, so we did the two-step. We did line dancing. We were singing. We ate. We had people driving them to the Wichita Falls. I say we, because I try to put myself to work, as you know. But the individuals that are there, the individuals that have made this possible, this all started by Staff Sergeant Burgess. And Staff Sergeant Burgess still has, obviously you as his father, and I say Beth. Beth has been a solid rock. Yes. His whole family, he, between his wife and the kids, I want people to understand what we mean when we say, if it weren't for this, I don't think we'd be here. And it's just telling the truth. It is. And I always said it, Terry. I always said, listen to everyone, watch out for me, because if that happens to me, I'm the one who will not be able to take it. I can't do, I was around a couple of other Gold Star families where I had done military models Texas for a while, and I had just done a Marines full service for them and the family. Wonderful family, wonderful. But I remember turning and looking and saying to someone, and we got them everything we could, everything they needed. But I remember saying, guys, watch out. If that's ever me, make sure that I'm not on that floor and make sure I'm still here, because I don't know if I could handle that. And, my heart, I can't explain in words right now, but I still get that feeling over me that comes over you as we're talking about this. But it's just something I'll never forget. Like,
Yeah.
I had that experience. So I experienced being an active duty mom on that side, and then searching then for an active duty group that wasn't that active where I was until later. And now it is. It's a beautiful group here. That they are doing some wonderful things. We have a VFW here with some individuals working. So it is coming along. But I wanted everyone to understand that between Staff Sergeant Burgess, my son is Sergeant Adam, and I say two-step. You mentioned earlier the name thing. They would understand that. Well, that's Sergeant Adam two-step Huckstep Laporte. And so that everyone understands, well, who's his mom then?
Yeah.
His mom is actually Tracy. I say Tracy on here. But without Staff Sergeant Burgess serving, taking that oath, foreign and domestic, there are some of us that foreign and domestic oath applied to. So domestic. And so trying to talk to people to understand that, look, we all need to support each other. Let's all just take care of one another. Let's remember the whole reason that they took that oath, and to watch out for the families that are still here. And that's the mission I'm on, is that, and connecting veterans to our Gold Star families, and then finding a home. So where is the home? I found a home at goldstarparentsretreat.org. If you go to goldstarparentsretreat.org, you will find a slideshow. It is 9 minutes, Terry. I timed it out. It's a little over 9 minutes, so I couldn't load it up for tonight. But eventually we can speed it up and we can do that.
Yes.
But it's on your website. So everyone just go to goldstarparentsretreat.org. I am talking to an IT individual. Shout out to Jason at Sergeant Records for doing this. I've already asked him, how can we speed that up to be able to get that out there a little more? And he's willing to help us. So we want to say thank you to him. But again, it is Christmas time, which can be rough on us as families. It can be hard on a lot of people for different reasons, right? So, I always want to say, reach out if you're feeling like you need to talk to someone. Call the number 988. Again, 988 is there to call and reach out, or reach out to maybe one of us within an organization, or we're at least going to have a phone number and a name to give you, right? We all know someone that we can give you a name and number to, depending on which branch we know. Okay, well, then call this person because they are really heavily involved with the Navy, or call this person because they're really familiar with the way the Marine works, or call this person. This is how the Army works, because they all work different, but they are casualty assistance officers. And these are just normal service members that have to come to our door. So a service member still serving will come to our door with a chaplain, just like in a movie, knock on your door, and you see them dressed. And I've begun to understand later, not then. It froze me literally. I have an intro I didn't play tonight, the words, and it's very true. Being frozen, feeling cold, feeling like I was stuck in the corner of the couch waiting for them to come to that door. Because Terry, what happened to me is what happened to you. Someone else got a phone call by being on social media. People, service members that were serving too, that were so upset, they started putting information online. And what happened is that got to a family member of mine. And when I was laying down, I just had surgery, and I saw that phone number. Back then, we had a home phone. And I'm not dating myself. I'm just saying we kept ours a long time. But that phone number that popped up on my screen, I'll never forget it. I looked and went, oh my gosh, you got to go downstairs. You have to answer that phone call because that phone does not, nobody calls it, and especially who called that number. And when I saw the person walk back up to me, and remember, I was in the bed, I just had surgery. And that's why Adam was home. And I'm doing great. Health is all good. Everyone out there letting you know my health is great. That's all good. But laying there, I knew when that person walked in the room and they looked at me and started to try to talk to me, I told them, don't speak to me. Leave me alone. I grabbed my phone. I went in and closed the door and locked it. And to this day, Terry, you mentioned you don't know how. I don't know how, but I ended up getting on the phone with like a general. I got on the phone with a commander, and then I got on the phone with someone that was right there as it was happening with Adam. And to this day, I can't even tell you how I did it. I don't have a clue. But I remember saying to them, there's no way that it's him for a fact because of, and I won't
Right.
get into his information, but,
Yeah.
and they were like, we're going to let the military contact you, but right now, because we're not comfortable giving you any information. And I said, well, when will that be? And they said, we're not sure, but they will be in touch soon. And I said, okay, I need to hear from somebody to understand because I really don't think it's my son. I think you have a mistake here. And unfortunately, they didn't. It was not a mistake. It was the truth. And, it was service members that served with them that were just so upset. They didn't know what else to do. And so my worst nightmare came true. The knock at the door, the hole in your soul, your heartbeat that skips and leaves a hole there too. So Terry, goldstarparentsretreat.org. Please go there, everyone that is listening. I want you to see the slideshow of our fallen service members. You can actually see their pictures. The information is there. And the goldstarparentsretreat.org. I am going to ask you to trust in me when I tell you a place for Gold Star families to go and to give back to those fallen service members who have served. It's Christmas. When you're looking to give, whether you're a company and you want to write that off, whether you're an individual and you have $5 and you want to say, you know what, for Christmas, I'm going to sponsor a family, one of those meals, because, to fly people out and all that is expensive. But even $5, $1, anything to help go towards getting that family member there so that nothing comes out of their pocket. I'm asking you this Christmas time, this holiday season, when you give back to goldstarparentsretreat.org, 100% of that is going to go to that retreat.
Yes.
I'll do a video from there and I will show you. I actually did do that when I was there, but I will definitely show you what you would be donating towards. I will personally do that. I will take pictures and I will show everyone out there that's listening. You go to goldstarparentsretreat.org. I will go and I will show you where your money is going. And it is going to those families that no longer have their service members so that you can celebrate this Christmas season in the freedom that we do have because of the service members who are no longer here.
Tracy,
And,
I
our children.
really appreciate that. Yeah, we're an all volunteer organization. So, and we're proud to say we're one of the few organizations where every single dollar goes into that program.
Yes.
We don't draw salaries. We don't have office space. And our volunteers are vetted. We have some incredible volunteers that help us out. And this last year, we had the 2 Gold Star sisters that volunteered to help run. Ashley and my daughter, Brandy,
Yeah.
both there. So, Rick Irving takes the photos. Tempest Cheryl, she's a registered therapist, but she stays in the background. She's like you. She helps clean up plates and she does dishes and she sweeps floors and she makes sure the tables are okay. But she's there just in case, because some things, and I know you know this, Tracy, even though we play the karaoke songs for fun and music, there's always that one song that's going to be a trigger There's a smell of food that's
Yeah.
a trigger. There's a sound that or a laugh, anything. And we're glad to say that Tempa is trained in that area. If she sees somebody that gets triggered, she's right there. She's a shoulder to cry on, to lean on. And like I said, all of our activities, they're all volunteer. There's nothing we do is mandatory. We don't hand you a schedule, say you've got to be here, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. It's relaxed, it's laid back, it's enjoy, it's have fun, and every single dollar helps us do that. So thank you.
Yes, no, thank you, Terry, for goldstarparentsretreat.org. I know that you end up going to multiple events. I know you'll be somewhere starting tomorrow. I'm leaving town too, but you're going to be attending something tomorrow. And so I said, man, we got to jump on tonight. So we put aside everything we can and we decided, you know what, we want to get the information out there because not only am I saying this about money to support those families, and then you would be supporting your fallen heroes, but also it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
And it's the holiday time, which is hard.
It is.
And so getting those names, they want us to do the roll call tonight. And so I have the list and you have the list. So if you'd like to do it, it's up to you. These are the names of the ones that sent us information yesterday. So we don't want to leave anyone out. What we're saying is that through the broadcast of Patriots Inside the Wire, again, Patriots Inside the Wire military broadcast, you can find it easily on YouTube or Facebook. I did not plug in the radio station yet tonight because what I wanted to do was get this message out personally because Christmas is coming, and then we will put this back out on the channels. But goldstarparentsretreat.org. What happened was yesterday we decided we wanted to get a list of names. And so for those that did respond with those names, we can call out those names like they wanted with you and I, Terry. And again, goldstarparentsretreat.org. I encourage everyone, please share this. Please let everyone know about our information here tonight, educating on what is a Gold Star family, deciding like, you might have questions and you want to ask someone, but you're scared like, well, maybe I shouldn't ask that. I can tell you that you can ask me. I don't know if you'll like what I say because I'm not very PC. I will tell you the truth. 100%. I'll always tell you the truth. And I lead by my own faith. And whatever works for you and for I or for anyone to keep going like that, you know, that's for them. But for me, I know it is my faith and my children. And so family, you know, Beth, I know is over there to your side. She's unbelievable. So I always like to make sure everybody remember Beth Burgess, please. she's working like crazy there at Gold Star Parents Retreat too. And not just one time a year. Listen, everybody, this is a retreat that is a few days in a year, but for Gold Star Parents Retreat to operate and to keep going, Mr. Burgess and his wife, Beth Burgess, are attending multiple events, there could be ceremonies to make sure that we are not forgotten and that we can get these families all gathered together at least once a year and have somewhere to go to be together. So again, goldstarparentsretreat.org. Please check that out. 100%, just like Mr. Burgess just explained to you. No staff gets paid, 100%. That fallen service member that you're thinking about right now, their parents right there. You can make something a gift in someone else's name. You know what? All right. Father, grandfather, whomever it might be, you're thinking, what the heck am I going to get them for Christmas? You know what you're going to get them is go to goldstarparentsretreat.org and say, you know what, in honor of a fallen service member this Christmas, I donated to goldstarparentsretreat.org for you in honor of that fallen service member and that family so that they could attend and be together at least once a year. So we thank you for that. goldstarparentsretreat.org again. Please look at that, and any bit of money helps make sure that our Gold Star families are not forgotten and that they are in a room. So for multiple days together. And what that does is it did a lot more than the years of everything else I tried. I tried multiple things. It's like being in a room and experiencing it, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. So goldstarparentsretreat.org. I know the list, right? There's a waiting list, literally, because what we need is we need help. We need more sponsors. We need more to be able to take care of more. So the only way we could do that, because I know we already dip into our own pockets. I know I do. I'm speaking for myself. But the only way we can keep doing that and to keep that waiting list to where someone can come is if we have people out there, our patriots, our families here that want to just support our service members. They ask all the time, how do we support the military? How do we support service members? How do we support those families that their fallen service members in here? Well, here it is, goldstarparentsretreat.org. Go there, and this Christmas you will be sponsoring a fallen service member's family to attend a retreat, which is goldstarparentsretreat.org for Christmas. So we thank you for that, and we humbly ask you to do that so that we can include more and we can take care of more people that we would love to be off of that waiting list and love to be included and continue to grow and do more. So, Terry, do you have some final words? I'd like to say, where is your book that someone can still purchase your book? Is that correct?
I think it's still on Amazon.
Okay.
Like I said, it was a sad situation that our publisher passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are still copies available.
Okay. So we will make sure it's in the broadcast. When Our Blue Star Turns Gold by Terry Burgess, Staff Sergeant Burgess, serving. His father wrote this book. So if you're also looking for something to read, I encourage you to go. I'm sure it's on Amazon is where I had seen it. Yeah, you can check that out. And then again, give back to goldstarparentsretreat.org. And actually, it's not all of us just sitting around singing, dancing, all of that.
No.
The therapists that are there, even to the person that just drives someone somewhere, or the food being made. There's a lot of things that go into it so that everyone can be there and feel like, I can take a breath. So, and that's all volunteer based. And even when you give your money right now to goldstarparentsretreat.org so that more can go, it's so that those people can be there and we can get them there and we can get more food and we can get, we can get them off the waiting list basically, so that they can attend. So the only way that it can grow, but here's a way to sponsor a fallen service member directly. And that is goldstarparentsretreat.org. And we will send you that picture of the group that you're supporting. As a matter of fact, if you go back and watch this, you will see a picture that is right there of just some. That wasn't even all of them in that picture for goldstarparentsretreat.org. And listen, it was not just families in Texas. We had Georgia. I'm trying to think, like they were from multiple states.
The Carolinas. Yep.
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, it was
Wyoming.
from, yeah, I do remember that actually. I remember
Arizona,
meeting them. Yeah. And it is because we're all searching. So we can only do this by the help of those who decide that, I want to take care of someone. I want to take care of our service members. It is Christmas. And again, for those service members that are no longer here and their families, we want to say to you, we are thinking of you. We are, our hearts go out to you for our Gold Star families, not just the parents, not just the mother, father. There are siblings, there are wives, there's, the whole family that we want to talk about. Terry, do you have the list there of the names? Do you want to do that or should I?
Go ahead, because I do not have it handy here.
Okay. I will. And remember, to everyone that's listening, this is just the list from where you gave it to us to use by permission when we asked you just yesterday. So if we're leaving you out, please get in touch and I'll be sure to add you when we do our Gold Star Family Honor Call on the broadcast for Patriots Inside the Wire. And here is the honor call. The honor call is John and Carol Savage with Sergeant John Savage, Craig and Donna Clemen, Chief Warrant 2 Jennifer Hunter, Brian and Kim White, aka Sergeant Carter, Private First Class Logan White, Mike and Delisha Bozo, Sergeant Colby Bozo, Ralph and Susie Hanson, Staff Sergeant Ken Hanson, Linda and Randy Pierce, Terry and Beth Burgess. That is the family of Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess, which you are on with right now. And we want to make sure that you understand and remember the people that are running that. And then you have Patrick and Terry Caserta for a wonderful foundation they have too. But Brandon Caserta, we want to Sheila and Calvin Murphy, Specialist Etienne. There you go. I'm saying it, Sheila. Etienne Murphy, the Hernandez family, Anna, the Hernandez family, Lance Corporal Armando Hernandez, Heather Hedge for PV2, Caleb Smitty Smither. Wonderful. Juan and Lorena Castro, Private First Class Juan Castro, Adolfo and Alicia. I may get this wrong. If I do, I'm sorry. Riquinez, Corporal James. Is it Riquinez, Terry?
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you. Ruben Martinez for Sergeant Jose Martinez. Thank you, Ruben, too, for constantly running pages and getting information out. He is wonderful at doing that. Nancy Harrison, Airman First Class Michael Mahoney, Sherry Guy, and this is for Christopher Guy. And there is Janet Morris for Chadrick George. Do I have that correct, Terry?
Yes.
Thank you. Karen Hill with Michael Hill. We have Doreen Norco with her senior airman. Lawrence Larry Boy. And is it Manlapit the third? Do you have that one, Terry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rose Tullis for Specialist Travis Tullis. Jolie Hicks for the airman. McCoy Hicks. And I just met this family, beautiful family. Kim and Carl Ball. Tech Sergeant Cody William Ball. Is that his rank, Terry? I just met them. And I hate it. I hate to get it wrong. So
is he a task sergeant? Is that
there? You go. Yes, Task Sergeant Cody William Ball. They were at Memories of Honor. Margie Taylor. We cannot forget Margie Taylor. She is doing so much in the community as well. For Specialist Joey Lentz. And again, if I have left anyone off, this is just the permission list. Is what happened. I was given permission by the families who sent information with the help of Terry, Anna Hernandez, Sheila Murphy, Margie Taylor, Terry Caserta. There are just certain family members that all reached out really quick and gave us this. But you can go to goldstarparentsretreat.org and you'll be able to see a full video of the families that are there for the retreat. And it's a beautiful slideshow. And we'll be sure to have Gold Star Parents Retreat with Terry Burgess on again next year and let you know how that retreat is and how beautiful it is. Check out the website. We want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday, a Merry Christmas. We will be remembering you when you have that empty seat beside you. We do know about that. And we want to thank not only our service members right now, but we're thanking our veterans, those who serve and have served, and those that are still serving. We have our police officers that are serving, our first responders. We want to say thank you to you as well. And thank you for being there for us. So reach out, get in touch. I promise we won't bite. We don't bring down the room. We will. We would love to hear from you. So again, thank you for joining Patriots Inside the Wire. Stand by. We have a exit that has been done by Sergeant Records. Jason and Scotty Frazier put this together, and Terry, I haven't seen it yet either. So it's kind of special that tonight is the first time we got to see this. So we got to see the intro which had all the families there that American Airlines, again, I want to say thank you to them, for they fly these families. Listen, everybody, American Airlines has stepped up and they are making sure that these families get to the retreat by your donations. They can get to the retreat, they can stay in a beautiful cabin, and they get to experience something that nothing can buy. You cannot buy this at all. This is priceless. So this is the way to honor our service members, is by going to goldstarparentsretreat.org. We're going to play you that video right now, so stand by. And please like, share, subscribe. Please share this episode to get out there before the holidays. And again, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Terry, for coming on. It's
Tracy,
always a pleasure.
you. Thank you
Well,
so very much.
I am just the vessel of information. And I decided, I'll be out of town next week, and you're doing me a favor too, that I want to get the information out after hearing the families, me asking for that roll call to start doing. I'm going to be doing an episode once a month. So
Okay.
if you'd like to have your service member story on, Terry, we can talk more, not about the retreat, but more about, why this retreat is there, and more about stories about Brian. So that would be
Yeah.
lovely to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be lovely. We will have to do that. So I hear you, Beth. Wonderful. Merry Christmas to you and to the kids, and to obviously your children as well, all of them. Remembering them. To everyone out there, we are Gold Star families. There are Gold Star mom, a Gold Star father, Gold Star siblings. Those are your active duty service members that are no longer here. They did not choose to take off that uniform. They were still serving for your rights and your freedoms that we have to this very day. And we thank you for being with us. Stand by, Terry, and we'll see what this exit does here. Like, share, subscribe to Patriots Inside the Wire. Thank you so much. Let's see what's going on with the exit here. I am excited. I have not seen it, so I'm like, I do trust their work. So,
All right.
I'm
Thank
like,
you, Tracy.
yes, thank you. Let's find this and pull it up, and let's. I know it's going to be great, but you're going to be the first person to see it, Terry. So we're going to show this before the show ends. I'll come back as it's playing and say bye to you, Terry. But first, let's play this.
All right.
Say goodnight. So here you are. Let's play this.
Sorry, let's start out of my brother two-step.
And what that was my youngest son trying to do a cadence. I see what they chose. He was grabbing a guitar, and that brought back a memory right there. I didn't know that was there. So y'all just got to see that live reel. That is the younger brother of my son that is no longer with us. He's saying roll call, silence, and he's yelling like a cadence. He was trying to do sound like a drill sergeant is what he was doing. And he's saying, silent, it's my brother. So I don't know if you were able to hear that part, Terry.
Yeah.
I caught it.
Okay.
So thank you for being with us. That was wonderful. Thank you, Sergeant Records, for that. Thank you, Terry, for staying up and making sure that we're here for our families throughout the holidays, and that we get in goldstarparentsretreat.org, because we want to take care of these families, and this is the right way to do it. So thank you, Terry, so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Do you have any last
Tracy.
words?
I do not. I'm just very, very grateful for the people that watch and listen, especially for our donors, our contributors, the people that help keep us going is deeply. And I don't have the words to say how much it's appreciated. So thank you for this, Tracy.
Well, thank you. And thank you to Gold Star Parents Retreat. It is a whole group of people that make that happen. And again, every dollar goes towards that retreat. Yes. So goldstarparentsretreat.org. There you go. That's a wonderful Christmas gift. Sponsor a fallen service member's family. Thank you, Terry, for being with us. I hope you have a wonderful, holiday. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's still like, even with us, it's like Yes, we will. We'll have a good Christmas. I will have a Christmas with my son, and we're going to have a wonderful time together.
Yep.
My daughter. But, we just still stumble a little bit because we're missing
Yeah.
someone. We're missing
Yeah.
someone at that holiday. So I
Yep.
am organic and live. There is no script here. This is real life. This is how it works. So thank you again, Terry. Please check out goldstarparentsretreat.org. Sponsor one of those families for Christmas. That's a beautiful gift to give and something you can give back to those that were serving for you. Good night. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much again, Terry. It was lovely to be with you and nice to see you.
Thank you,
Sounds
Tracy.
good. Thank you
All right.
so much. And we go.